I now call on Colum Eastwood to wind on the amendment, and the member will have up to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and thank the Minister for the invite to talk about conspiracy, but I think it's probably been a bit of conspiracy and a fair bit of cock-up over the last number of decades that has led to what is a very difficult economic position for the people of our city. And it just feels a wee bit like Groundhog Day here, Mr Deputy Speaker, and everybody's been very nice and everybody's been very supportive, and that's good, and we know there's a current financial difficulty. We all recognise that. But I think what has to be recognised is this is a legacy of neglect of west of the Ban. It's an absolute tragedy in the way that the economy and the fundamentals of the economy have been allowed to be developed over the last decades. And unfortunately, we're doing nothing or nowhere near enough to address that and to redress the imbalance. The Executive's own investment strategy talks about balanced economic development, talks about Derry and Belfast being key economic drivers. That's great. There's a lot in the programme for government and in that particular strategy that I don't agree with, but I was glad to see that. What I would like to see, though, is some action on the back of that. And I don't put this at the feet of the Minister, because I think this is a far bigger issue than one Minister or one department. There's probably going to be an announcement tomorrow that corporation tax is going to be devolved to Northern Ireland. And I've said this a number of times. We already have corporation tax in Derry. It's called Muff or Bridgend or Calais or any of those places that are just on the edge of our city that already have corporation tax at 12.5%. We still don't have foreign direct investment of any significant number. Neither does North East Donegal. Why? Because if you look at the northwest corner of Ireland as a whole, the road and rail network is pitiful in comparison to the rest of the country. Another issue that we don't have is a major and expanded university doing the proper courses to attract all this inward investment that people think we're going to get as a result of corporation tax. So I think we need to be very careful to understand that unless we invest properly and significantly west of the Ban, whether it's in infrastructure or skills, there is not going to be any great uplift from corporation tax for us, because, as we've seen, and I have a constant kind of running argument with Invest Northern Ireland and different ministers in here about this, that they can't direct investment to wherever we would like them to put it. That's what they say. And whilst I don't 100% agree with that, what I do agree with Invest Northern Ireland when they say, and they've said this to me personally and publicly, that I do, yeah.
Thank you, Member, for giving way. He said, I know it was just in passing, but he said that ministers say they can't direct investment, and then he said, I don't necessarily agree with that. Is he suggesting then that ministers should take the power to direct inward investors as to where they should go?
Well, the member probably doesn't read all my press statements, but one of the things that I've put it a number of times has been that the fact in the south the ADA have targets of 50% of investment outside of Belfast and outside of Cork. Now, for some unknown reason, Invest Northern Ireland and the Derry Minister have refused to even countenance any kind of targets around balanced regional investment. That's the truth of it. But let's just say it is the case, and Alistair Hamilton of Invest Northern Ireland has said this to me, and I agree with him on this point, that it's extremely difficult to attract the high-quality jobs to west of the Ban unless we have connectivity in terms of road and rail, and unless we have an expanded university doing all the courses, especially high-tech, that we need to attract those kind of jobs. So, for the first time, I think, in a long time, I'm actually standing up here and agreeing with Invest Northern Ireland's assessment. But if that's what the assessment of the government's chief investment advisor is, why have we not done anything about it? Why have we not tackled the connectivity issue, the roads and the rail? And I know it's a longer, more of a legacy issue than the Minister has control of. And why have we not done anything about the university? Mr. Osborne, another man I rarely agree with, has announced £15 billion of roads investment for Britain. Let's see some of that coming here. Because if we're seriously going to stand over a decision at some point to reduce corporation tax to 12.5%, we have to do the work beside that to increase infrastructural development and skills development west of the Ban. Otherwise, we will see no impact other than the cuts of hundreds of millions that it's going to take to pay for it in my constituency and the constituencies around it, and the constituency of North East Donegal. Thank you.
I now call on Cathal